Hi.
Welcome to Riplay. This time there is a movie called Litsoneras. The movie, released in 2023, tells the story of a daughter who finds out her mother is having an affair with her employee. The daughter tries to silence their affair in various ways, including luring the mother's affair to taste her own body. Before continuing to the story, click the subscribe button so you don't miss the latest video updates from Riplay. The movie focuses on a high school student named Erlina. Erlina lives with her father and runs a suckling pig business financed by her own mother. Erlina's family is currently in trouble because her father was caught cheating on her a few years ago. As a result, her mother left them and went to work in Dubai. Every day, Erlina would help her father at the farm, starting from preparing food to helping prepare merchandise. Although her father asked her to relax at home, Erlina couldn't bear to see her father working too hard. Unlike Erlina, who often stays at home, her father prefers to sleep at the ranch. Because Erlina is beautiful and has a good body, it is not uncommon for her to be teased by her buyers. Fortunately, her father always looked after his beloved daughter. One day when they were taking a break from work, a beautiful woman was seen about to cross the road to their suckling pig stall. Carrying a suitcase and bag, this auntie immediately hugged Erlina's father. Well, it turns out that the aunt is Erlina's mother who suddenly returned from Dubai. She is named Minerva. At that time it was seen that Erlina did not like the presence of her mother at all. She even tried to avoid her mother. At first the father thought that his wife returned because she had been able to forgive his mistakes in the past. Eloy the father also asked Minerva to reconcile for the happiness of their family. But unfortunately Minerva flatly refused Eloy's request on the grounds that she had not forgiven her ex-husband. Minerva's return made their suckling pig business automatically fall into Minerva's hands, while Eloy the father was only an employee. Minerva also has several other workers. Compared to Eloy, Minerva was more abusive and treated them arbitrarily. He didn't even hesitate to fire employees on the spot. Not long after, they had a new candidate named Jonas. After seeing Jonas' curriculum vitae, Minerva immediately accepted him and asked him to start working the next day. On his first day, Jonas was seen glancing at Erlina, which made Eloy dislike his new employee. Finally, Eloy warns Jonas not to mess with her daughter if he wants to work longer at the place. After school, Erlina is unexpectedly teased by her schoolmate. But soon Jonas suddenly appeared and threatened to kill the man. Seeing Jonas's heroic behavior, Erlina began to fall in love with the man. She even began to build a relationship with Jonas and was not ashamed to tell him about the condition of Erlina's family at that time. Once at the ranch, Erlina took a shower. It seems that one of the employees there came sneaking up to the bathroom and peeked at Erlina. The man casually enjoyed the bathing Erlina. But while he was enjoying himself watching Erlina's beautiful body, Jonas suddenly beat the man up. Jonas' heroic behavior seems to have changed Erlina's father Eloy's attitude. Since then, Eloy began to like and treat him very well. As time goes by, Minerva and Erlina's relationship has not improved. Minerva continues to persuade and try to take her daughter's heart. But unfortunately, Erlina still doesn't want to make up with her mother. Things got even more rash when Erlina found her mother's suspicious flight records. In the note, it appears that Minerva has arrived in the city 2 weeks ago. But she came home only in the past week. Erlina immediately reported this to her father. But even this father did not suspect his ex-wife at all. It turns out that behind her sudden return, Minerva was hiding something. Who would have thought that Minerva had an affair with Jonas, a man much younger than herself? Minerva deliberately put Jonas in the place so that they could be together and take the opportunity to date. They often sneak into the farm just to have fun. After having fun, Jonas asks Minerva to confess their relationship in front of everyone. But Minerva refused because for her it was not the right time. They have to wait until everyone is ready to accept the reality. The next day, Erlina seems to be getting a little fond of Jonas. While they were at work, Erlina secretly filmed Jonas cutting up a pig. The knife accidentally cut Jonas's finger until it bled. Erlina, who began to care about Jonas, immediately sucked Jonas' bleeding finger. But apparently the mother had been watching or seeing what Erlina was doing, from when she was taping to sucking the finger. When Erlina was treating Jonas, Minerva immediately caught them both. The jealous mother finally forbade Erlina to get close to the male employees there. When it was time for a break, Erlina looked for a quiet place above the attic of the ranch. Apparently she secretly smoked a forbidden object there. While smoking the object, Erlina also imagined Jonas to be her boyfriend. While on the other hand, Minerva and Jonas are increasingly showing their close relationship. During the break time, the two of them met in front of the toilet in the warehouse. This was also witnessed by two other workers. Later in the toilet, Minerva was initially angry and jealous of Jonas' closeness to her daughter. But Jonas' seduction eventually melts Minerva's heart. And finally they do what they often do. Their voices from inside the toilet were also heard by two other workers who were peeping from outside. The next day, the two workers tease and taunt Jonas about what happened in the restroom yesterday. They said that Jonas only wanted to benefit from Minerva's money. Jonas denies it and says that he genuinely loves Minerva. But the disbelieving workers taunt him again and get Jonas into a fight with them. Eloy, who was there at the time, was surprised and asked what was going on. But the workers and Jonas tried to hide it. As time passed, Jonas, who could not stand this relationship, continued to demand that Minerva tell everyone. It turns out that their conversation was overheard by Erlina, which made Erlina angry and jealous. It didn't stop there. Jonas and Minerva began to dare to do indecent things openly in Minerva's house. Even when Erlina was at home, she witnessed the depravity of the two of them. Suddenly this immediately made Erlina feel very angry and jealous. Her mother tried to explain that she really loved Jonas. She knew the man when he was still in Dubai, but because his father was deported, Jonas and his family were forced to return to Manila. His mother, who couldn't part with the man, chose to return with Jonas. Minerva asked Erlina to understand her mother's condition. It wasn't long before Eloy returned home and prepared a meal for his daughter and ex-wife. At that time he realized that the two were arguing. But Eloy, who doesn't know the contract, tries to reconcile the two. Not long after, Jonas suddenly appeared out of nowhere and finally Eloy realized that the two had been having an affair. Eloy threw a tantrum and quickly left the place. Because he was tired of the conditions in his house, Mr. Eloy hired a hired woman instead. And they did the forbidden relationship. But unfortunately, instead of being happy, it made him even more stressed since. After this incident, the suckling pig business was completely held by Minerva. Then Minerva made Jonas the boss and no one could order him around. While working, there was a commotion between Eloy and Jonas. Minerva, who happened to be there, defended Jonas and said, "The money Eloy used to build the business was his and hers. But without Eloy's hard work and secret recipe, the business wouldn't have been possible." Eloy finally left the place and wouldn't tell anyone their secret recipe. Erlina initially wanted to follow her father wherever he went, but she still chose to be there to save the business that her father had built. Erlina ended up living with Minerva and Jonas. She often sought Jonas' attention. When they are about to have dinner, Erlina secretly tries to flirt with Jonas. Even at the farm when Erlina was taking a shower, she deliberately opened the door so Jonas could see her. But unfortunately Jonas ignored it. At first, Minerva was relieved by Eloy's departure because she felt that there was no barrier to their relationship, but over time Jonas began to show his true colors. He blackmailed Minerva slowly, starting from asking for money to buy a new cell phone, asking for money every week for sprees and so on. Jonas even lazed around and just played games all day. Due to the constant squeeze, their finances began to deteriorate to turn around capital. Jonas reduced production costs, which led to a decline in the quality of their suckling pig. As a result, the selling power declined and customers began to leave the place. Meanwhile, Eloy tried to open his own business. And the longer it grows, at the same time Erlina also intends to awaken her mother and unmask Jonas. When Mom was away and the house was empty, she deliberately offered Jonas an intoxicating drink while seducing him. Jonas accepted the drink but not with Erlina's seduction. But as Jonas drank too much, he began to waver. He, who is just an ordinary human being and a normal man, finally gave in to Erlina. Finally they did this. It turns out that Erlina here is just trying to trap Jonas by recording it all. But unfortunately Jonas realized that and counterattacked Erlina by taking the cell phone and saying that the video was a threat so that Jonas could do something like that at any time to Erlina. One night Jonas again forces Erlina to follow his will. At the same time, Minerva realized that Jonas was no longer by her side. Finally Minerva went out and found Jonas, who was harassing his daughter. Jonas tried to provide evidence that Erlina was the one who set him up. But Minerva doesn't believe it because after all, Erlina is her own daughter and all of Jonas' excuses are unacceptable to Minerva. Finally, that night there was a commotion between the two of them, and Jonas, who could not stand everything, finally finished Minerva's life. The terrified Erlina immediately went to her father's place. Seeing her daughter's disheveled appearance, her father immediately understood her daughter's condition and finally immediately Eloy went to the farm. Erlina, who was afraid of something bad happening to her father, immediately followed to the place. Once there, how shocking and horrible he saw Jonas, who ended up being rolled like a pig. As a result of this incident, Eloy finally had to end up in prison. And the movie ends. That's the storyline of the movie entitled Litsoneras. From this movie we can learn not to play with fire, because every action we take has its own consequences. Don't forget to press the like, share and subscribe buttons. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next video.